Mm, the smell of sage, how much I enjoy it. Welcome, everyone, to another episode here with Breathe Joy, where we center love and joy in everything we do, and we ground ourselves in the beautiful essence of who we are. I am Hazel, your host for today. I'm super excited to share our episode theme, which is all about spiritual protection. What are different rituals that you can connect to protect your energy? And why is it important? One of the analogies that I think really sums up why it's important to spiritually protect yourself. So think about you going outside in the middle of a rainstorm and you have no raincoat, you have no rain shoes, and now you get soaking wet. Maybe you get sick, and you could have prevented all of that just by wearing a raincoat. That raincoat, that umbrella, those rain shoes are your spiritual protection. They help you minimize getting all that negative energy on you and give you that protection as you move through the world. As we know, there is a lot of chaos happening right now, and so people are really in their fight or flight, are really in fear, are really worried, are really stressed. And so what can we do to not take in their energy? And this is what this episode is about. It's how do I do rituals for myself to support me, so when I move through the world, I'm not feeling drained, I'm not feeling exhausted, I'm not taking on people's energy. And obviously, this is a practice that has to be ongoing. It's not just something you do once, but it supports you in feeling so grounded and moving with much more ease in the world. What is spiritual protection? It is a safeguard. I like to say it's a bubble of light over me that protects me while I move through the world. And you can also call in your ancestors for support. You can also use different crystals or adornments. Like I like to use my rings and my bracelets, and the necklace I wear are all part of protection for myself. As I am a Reiki master, I do work with energy, so I am very sensitive to energy, and I have to make sure that I'm not feeling everyone's feelings and emotions, and also really grounded in who I am, so I can discern if this is mine or if this is someone else's. Because I am so sensitive to energy, that also helps me see when people are in misalignment, because you can be telling me one thing, but the way you're moving in your body and feeling shows me something different. And so this is just something that I have learned through my own experience, and also just connecting to energy, which is who we are, and taking care of our energetic body is so important. It's like a bath, we need to have spiritual baths. We need to cleanse ourselves so that we aren't feeling all that heaviness of the world, because right now there is a lot happening. So how can you absorb energy? You can absorb energy in a lot of different ways. One of them is through people, places, and environments. So if someone is feeling some kind of way, like a coworker, you can intake their energy if you are not protected. Or even just be aware, like, oh my God, they are bombarding. Like sometimes people go into trauma dumping and just will share the heaviness of what is going on in their day. And then all of a sudden your whole energy shifts. And now you're just like, what is going on? Like, I feel so sad, or I feel really depressed, or I'm really anxious. What has just happened is that energy has been transferred onto you. Rituals can really help you from having that barrier between you and other people, and even places, right? Like I love going to music festivals. I love music. Shout out to my sister for putting me on to raves. And I love to dance, right? And so I know that I want to go into those places, but like, what can I do to protect myself from all these different energies that are in those spaces, right? Overall, why is this important? This is important so that you are grounded in who you are, and you are not experiencing burnout, stress, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed in regards to taking on other people's worries and pains. Especially as you start to go deeper into the healing journey, you start to find this place of peace, and you start to find this place of calm and relaxation. And something simple that can happen is like you go on social media and now you scrolling and you seeing all these negative feeds that will impact you. And sometimes you can feel really drained after that. That has definitely happened to me. So learning how to create boundaries to protect my peace has been super important so that I'm not constantly taking on other people's energy, even if it is from social media or the outside world. So if you're feeling burnout, that is another sign that you can also be taking on people's energy. So just knowing that a lot of these things that are surfacing can also be connected to external factors and not just like something that you need to work through. So protecting yourself is essential as you move through your love journey, as you move through awakening. So, story time here at Breathe Joy, I really am an advocate for storytelling, for telling our stories and sharing with people our personal experiences so that they can relate more and be able to grow because they know that they're not alone as they move through this space. So, I want to share an experience of when I needed spiritual protection and I fully wasn't aware that I needed it. And as I started to do that work, I noticed the shift. So, one of the things was I was in a relationship, and this relationship was beautiful. It was flowing in divine alignment. And I started to feel very anxious, overwhelmed, stressed. I realized that it actually wasn't my energy. I was actually taking on my ex-partner's energy. And I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling really stressed and anxious. And as I really started to sit with it, I realized like, wow, even with a partner, you have to create boundaries, like spiritual boundaries, so you are also not taking on their emotions, you are not taking on their burdens, and you do have a place where you can support them but not feel like this is something you need to fix, right? And so for me, I realized that that was a place where in the past I haven't always set protection and boundaries, because that's something that I've been working on through my relationship with myself, learning how to create boundaries, which again is so beneficial, so necessary, so that we teach people how to love us, so we show up in love and in compassion and understanding and wanting to grow together. So in this place, I was taking on a lot of his energy, and I realized I was feeling really exhausted, and I'm like, I need to do something different. And so I started to create rituals for myself, and I realized that did shift a lot. But it was more of an awareness of like, oh wow, I am in a place where I can be aware of my energy and emotions, but that person wasn't necessarily in that space to do that for themselves. And so that is when I had to realize this relationship has come to an end, because I cannot fix or change or tell you how to take care of your energy. You have to want that for yourself. And there are people out here in the world that don't necessarily know how to do that, but because they don't, they're constantly projecting and emoting these heavy energies to other people. And someone as myself that is very sensitive to energy, that does energy work, that I constantly work on myself, I was like, that's not the kind of energy I want to be around. So it also gave me information to understand, again, when we're connecting to people, it's like, is this someone that is adding energy to your life? Are they fueling you, or are they draining you because they're, emoting their own energy and they don't necessarily know how to emotionally regulate? So, and of course, like teaching each other to do that, but at the end of the day, they have to want that for themselves as well. So, this is another reason why spiritual protection rituals are so important, because even in relationships, even in family situations, when you're with your family, you need to set that shield up for yourself. So now you're more of an observer than actually taking on all that energy. Here are the rituals that you can start implementing into your life. Number one, creating your protection ritual for your morning, for your rising. This is very important because you're going to ground yourself in energy of protection before you enter the world, before you talk to anyone else. So this is something that I personally do every single day, and together we're going to do it right now. So find a grounded seat wherever you're at, bringing your hands to heart center, maybe closing the eyes if that feels good to you, and taking a deep breath in. Exhale. Another deep breath in and exhale. Biggest breath you've taken all day. Inhale and exhale. With your hands at heart center, now opening up the eyes and starting to, with your hands, raise your arms above your head and starting to visualize this bubble of light coming over you as you expand your hands around your being, grounding your hands around the body and touching them to the ground, the seat, wherever you're at. You can also bring your hands around you if that's something that calls to you, really listening to your intuition and what you're meant to do. Once you visualize this beautiful bubble of light, it can be any color you seek that you are needing in this day. Color, connecting to colors is a different kind of medicine, but understanding what is it that you need. So for this purpose, we are going to visual a big white light over our being. And once we do that, bring our hands back to heart center, and from your heart, from your essence of who you are, right? Because there's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's really listening to what feels intuitive to you. Taking a moment to set the intention for your bubble. May this bubble protect me from any energy that is not for me and my highest good. May this bubble protect me of any energy that is not meant for me and my highest good. I'm repeating that 3 times. You can also share, may it transmute any energy that is not for me, transmuting it into love and sending it back to its sender tenfold. So you want to send back love to whoever is sending you energy. It's not about sending bad energy back to anyone, because we have the power to transmute energy. And so shifting our intention with what we are wanting can really, really help in creating a space to not only protect ourselves, but also help other people along the ride. And so once you set that intention, you can also set the intention that you can call in your ancestors to protect you, to guide you as you're moving through the day. If you have any spirit animals or spirit totems, you can call them in as well. So for me, I work with animal medicine as well. And I always connect to my Puma Chiquito, who is my guardian, my protector. And whenever I'm needing protection, I call him as well. And so there are different ways of calling in that protection from the morning. So that is ritual number 1. Ritual number 2, it is cleansing. So with protection, you also need to give yourself permission to cleanse. It's like taking a shower. So one of the tools that you can use is sage, right? I have this sage right here at my altar at my desk. And then just starting to light it up. Using any herb that you're called to. Some people want sage, some people are Palo Santo. This lighter doesn't seem to want to work. Okay, we got it lit up in here. All right, so once you light up your sage, wait until it starts to smoke up here. And once it does, you see the smoke that's coming through, right? With this sage, you can cleanse yourself. So you can wand the sage over your hand and over the other hand and over your being. So this is something that I learned while I was in my Reiki training, just how to cleanse your energy. And this also helps with protection, right? Because you're clearing off any energy that is not for you, and even just like wanding it around you, right? Like clearing yourself, because a part of having protection is also clearing out any energy that might have gotten stuck or connected to your aura, and you want to make sure you're clearing that out. So saging is a wonderful way to cleanse yourself, and also to protect yourself. So, there was a moment I remember, because I always carry either my sage or my Palo Santo in my purse. And I remember there was this one time I was out with my sister for her birthday, and I just started to feel really overwhelmed and really anxious, even though I had been fine all throughout the night. And so I was like, okay, like I'm feeling a lot of energy, and it just was feeling a little bit too much for me. So I decided to go outside. I found a corner and I started burning my Palo Santo. And as I was like cleansing it, that smoke was very grounding for me. It allowed me to connect to my body, to my being, and it allowed me to remove off any energy that wasn't serving me or wasn't for me. I know a ritual that you can do for yourself is using your voice. So saying no and using your discernment. So it is very important to recognize that you have the power on who has access to you, right? In what spaces you're attending and what spaces you're connecting. And you have to make that decision for yourself. What am I going to do to protect myself as I move through this world? So saying no when you feel like things are not in alignment, I always ask myself before I go anywhere, I really take the time to be intentional. And I ask myself, am I meant to be in this place? Or am I even meant to leave the house? Because sometimes you're not meant to leave the house at all, right? So asking yourself, or even just checking in with your body, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling exhausted? Am I feeling tired? Maybe I need to rest more. And maybe I need to say no to this experience because it's going to drain me more, right? Or even coming to discernment, right? Really hearing where people are at, really observing how people are showing up. Are they using the language, the words that align with how they are moving? All these things also help you determine if these people are meant to be in your life, and really taking the time to see, is this person in alignment with my life right now? And asking your spirit, because you know what's meant for you, and you also know what's not. So when you take time to meditate, this is a perfect example of how you can take the time to sit at your altar so you can discern whether or not someone is meant to be in your life. Because that is another form of protection. You are choosing to be aware of the people that are coming into your life. You're observing their behavior, you're observing how they're showing up. And you're seeing, like, is this person draining me when we're together? Do I feel lit up after hanging out with them? How am I feeling every time I'm connecting with this person or this group of people or in these environments, right? Because now you start weaving out the places that are draining you, that are not giving life to you, because that's not what we need in our life right now. We need to be surrounded by people that want to pour into us as we pour into them. So this is another way that we can protect ourselves, is setting boundaries and discerning on who is meant to be in our life, what experiences we're meant to go through. Because boundaries really, really protect ourselves and show other people how to do it. I hope from this video you have received some rituals that you can connect to support you in protecting your energy, and really knowing that you have the power within you. The more you practice these rituals, the more you're able to feel the shift, right? Like, I know now that the way I take care of myself really, really impacts in the way that I show up in the world. And I know that when I create time and space to protect myself, to ground myself, or to even see the shift in myself, I can really come back to my center. I can come back to grounding and adjust the way that I need to. And protection is so necessary, because right now there is so many things pulling from us. There are so many things that are distracting us from what we need to focus on, which is choosing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, loving ourselves, so that we can pour into ourselves all that energy that we need so we can bring more love into this world. So I hope that you take the time to include a morning protection ritual as a part of your rising, taking time to really just visualize this bubble of light over your being so that you can move in the world more freely, more grounded, and more at peace. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode here at Breathe with Joy, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week. May you be protected and guided on your journey forward. Much love.